and welcome back. In this section of the tutorial, I'm going to go through the new features in Lumion 9. And as you can see, just by looking at the start screen, nothing much has changed. You still have the same layout. You still got the news and learning and the computer speed at the bottom. So nothing much has changed over here. We go through to examples. We got the same examples except for the beach house, which includes some of Lumion 9's new features. And then we go to the load screen, also the same screen as you are familiar with. Through to settings, we got the same settings at the top there again. And the new feature that Lumion has introduced is the new file recovery section. Coming through to your load screen, we're going to load in the new file. So go through to your load. We're going to go and load up the urban file, which I already loaded up. So I'm just going to load this one up again. And there you go, the file is brought in. And straight away you can see pretty much the same layout on the top, but the biggest change will come in here at the bottom, where you can see now on the first tab, so you got your objects, your imports again, your nature that you're familiar with. And then you got your place, your select, rotate, scale, your moving tool, and then your delete tool. So this is laid out a little bit differently, and to me it feels a little bit more organized. On the right hand side, we've got the same setup as before. We got our photo mode and our video mode. So nothing has changed over there, where you can save your files. And then again, we got a new feature where you can set your eye level. So that's as a standard 1.6 meter height. So that's a nice quick shortcut to use, and the usual setting for your memory usage. Going over to your materials, you'll notice now with the materials at the bottom, we click on the material tab. The window that you normally see is still on the left, and you still got your same layout as usual. Going through there, nothing much has changed other than the new two features under nature, which will be your 3D grass and your fur. And we'll have a closer look at that later. So that is pretty much the same over there. New feature that they've now adjusted is your object properties. So clicking on an object, now you have your properties on the top right hand corner of the screen, where it used to be a spanner that you have to click on to access these features. You've got the same features that you had in your spanner tool. So it will be your re-import, your lock, your load material, and save material set. So over there you can go through and do that, where you would normally have to click on the left hand side of your material and click on the menu to save your material set. The other thing we can have a look at is the landscape. As you can see, nothing much has changed over there other than the update on the OpenStreetMap. And then you just have your sun settings again, and then your cloud settings. And that is pretty much the same as it was in Lumion 8. So coming back to your objects, now they've got a new feature in Lumion 9 where you can just click now on the house directly or on the object directly. You don't have to go and look for the origin node point inside Lumion, where that would take a while to go through and cycle through. Now we can just actually click on the object, and straight away we got the spanner tool again and all the house properties popping up on the right hand side. And as you can see, these are the same features that you're used to, which used to be down there on the bottom left, is now on the top right with its own little section where you can now go and lock and re-import your model again. So that is a nice neat feature to add into Lumion 9. Now that we've looked at object properties, let's go to nature, just to show you how the new library works. Now that we click on the place tool, a new window pops up on the left hand side where we see our library appear. And again, we get a live presentation of any object that we bring into the scene. So we can place this and we get a good idea of the object height and how it looks before we even place it. So that's also a nice new feature. Then as usual, we have our search tab now on the top. And I'll type in here London. Then we'll come up with our London plain trees. Again, we click on that tree and then we can place it and we get a real live preview of that tree on the scene. And again, we can toggle the favorite. So pretty much like we've done in Lumion 8. Now we can go to imports, and the same window appears with our object that we've imported from 3D Max or SketchUp, and our tabs that we've created previously. Again, we got the search function on top. So that is all fine. So going over to the object properties of the tree, here we have the same settings that we've had before, and we've got the same shortcuts as before. So we got the height, rotate, the move, and how we can manipulate that object. And we got the typing parameters as we've had before. So that is the same. Then coming through to our placement again, we can have a look at the mask place and the cluster placement. Same situation as before in Lumion 8. Again, nothing much has changed over here. Just remove these two trees. And we've got the same setup as you can see from Lumion 8. So they've kept that the same, nothing new over there. So that's fine. And of course we've got the force height on landscape, which have made it a lot easier now if you need to click on the building and lock the building. So coming over to properties, we've got the same properties as before. Other than the spanner tool that we've had in Lumion 8, we can now also do the same thing with the pop-out menu on the right. Again, we can lock the object, we can focus on a selection, find. So we can also go through and delete that. And as you can see, the new feature in Lumion 9 is if you click on the delete button, the whole object turns red, so you don't mistake it by accidentally deleting an object when you have the delete tool function enabled. So that's just a nice little highlight to add in as well. And the same feature that we had before, we can select all categories. So just zooming out a bit, now we can select everything in the scene. And you can see this is something that we've already used in Lumion 8. And then just deselect that. So pretty much the same setup as Lumion 8, just with the added features that they've added in, and also just reorganizing some of the important features to the top right hand corner. And that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next.